There have been some scandals in the medical research literature. There was an article I read 2 days ago about a professor in Japan who had published literally dozens of articles with fake data, and those got entered into the meta-analyses, and they're now discovering that the meta-analyses that are advising people's treatments were based on fake data, and they're wrong. That's kind of a horrifying prospect, that if they're really, it only takes one highly productive researcher to really screw up the findings of an entire field. And so that was good reason to start quaking, to think that we're assuming that the things that get published in the journals are actually right, and that the people are accurately reporting what they did, and that the numbers are true, and that they didn't just make it up. But as more papers get rescinded, there's reasons to be, I think, anxious about meta-analyses. I mean, that was just a horrifying thing to read, because it's medicine, and they actually care. We care what gets found in medicine. People don't care as much what we find. But the other side of that, at least in my end of the field, I only wish we had the problem of meta-analysis being able to aggregate, because in fact, what journals tend to prefer is novelty and counterintuitive findings. And it's really hard. By the definition of a counterintuitive finding, it means it doesn't accumulate. You're saying, this thing that we, like Murray Davis's article, this thing that we thought was true turns out not to be true. I've found a counter case. It's almost like, it's like crabs trying to crawl out of a barrel. The way that you make your mark is to pull the crab back in. Any insights that start to get established, that thereby makes them something that you want to show isn't really true. And so I think cumulative knowledge is really tricky, to the extent that journals and reviewers value novelty over accumulation, and they value the counterintuitive rather than the work that builds on prior work. So it feels like just the built-in incentives for our field for novelty lead us into this kind of Winchester mystery house. There's a beautiful metaphor that you should look up in my last ASQ editorial, because it's really funny, but we don't have time to walk through it. So a lot of rooms that don't add up to anything, essentially.